Have you seen those Austin T-shirts they're wearing in Toronto now? It's like the Obama Hope shirts, but it's Austin's face on them with the kind of abstract art.
Man, he must just be a ball of stress in that apartment in Toronto. God, the whole town just... It's all on you. Kyle Lowry, who?
Oh, we get a lot of shots. Everybody come to their net. We just have to get more and more pucks to their net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Get pucks on net.
Continue to put pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
Pucks on net.
Pucks on net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving and making it a hard night on them.
5 long years.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment, her palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Let's talk about fantasy or fancy stats.
The bed music is a little hot.
Is it a little hot? I think
a little hot.
That's coming. How about there we go?
Okay.
A little quieter.
Yeah.
Could be the cans. It's hard to tell with these sometimes.
I don't know, I feel like it's just looping. I feel like it's just... Are you choking on the levels there? Are you just panicking?
Dave hasn't podcasted in a long time. He's lost his feel for it.
I'll just bring it back in hot. Here we go.
I just like the song, actually.
And then that was such a hard cut at the end. You were doing so well.
I knew the cut was coming up.
We're going to pick up a new soundboard guy on waivers. Anthony Emmy will be out of a job again by the end of next week.
We would be his fourth team?
By the time he's on, by the time we get the soundboard guy, it'll be like his 6th or 7th team. Yeah. Let's go back. Paul, I like what you brought up last week. Let's introduce ourselves again.
I'm P-Mac.
My name's Ryan. I don't have anything clever to say.
This is like elementary school. We have to, and my favorite color is green.
That's nice. That's a local color.
Hi, I'm Geeta.
I'm Dave. Please go see Justice League. No one saw it last weekend. Please go this weekend.
It made like $96 million.
Yeah, no bonus for me. $4 million short there, bud.
Dave needs that money, baby.
I was going to go see it this week in the middle of the week. It's become my thing.
So, Dave, you had a really good tweet on Saturday night.
The Canucks can't have nice things.
And you seem a little worried that they have a nice thing.
What did they break?
We have a brand new car that our dad has bought us, and it's very fancy. Old man Jim Benning bought us a new American-made muscle car
out of Minnesota.
And we're gonna put too many miles on and back it up in reverse and right through the window like Ferris Bueller and Cameron. We are gonna crash and burn this thing. The Canucks have a pattern in their short and futile history of taking these surefire prospects, getting a couple good years at them, but they seem to play their prime years in other jerseys. This keeps happening to us. Or we just burn them out completely.
Who are we talking about playing their prime years in other
Cody
jerseys?
Hodgson, right?
Cody Hodgson, yes, played his prime. He did play his prime year
that
in
half
Buffalo.
A season.
Cam Neely chased him out of town. He did pretty well when he left.
That's going back a ways.
Pavel Bure had back-to-back 50-something goal seasons in Florida before his knees went bust.
He had a lot of goals in his prime years were Vancouver, though. Still.
But we chased him out way before it was time for him to leave.
We also
management chased him out of town.
Yeah, and that's the collective we.
You hate Pavel Bure. He holds out. He's not a good Canadian boy. He's not playing through. That's the mindset we had.
Yes. There was a lot of fake news
Dave
going on.
speaks for himself.
A lot of fake news going around back then. No, he just didn't like. The organization was in shambles then. They traded the whole team away because of some bald dude that came to town.
Well, no, the Bure thing was a slow burn. The Bure Canucks breakup took about 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think that the Messier
that had nothing to do with it.
Helped out, though.
But it really didn't have that much to do with it. He was pretty disenfranchised with the franchise.
Yeah.
My point is the Canucks can't have nice things. This is a nice thing.
It's a really nice thing.
It's a really nice thing. And it's so physically attractive and hockey visually attractive as well.
Optics are great.
Just don't screw this up. And that goes on all of the fans, all you kids listening out there, just like, don't necessarily buy the $45 Brock Boeser jersey. You're going to freak him out. You're going to scare him away. Go for that reasonably priced $35 Bo Horvat jersey. We're still on Bo Horvat. Yay, he's still young, and he's moderately good, so he'll play here forever like all the moderately good players do.
He's Trevor Linden.
Trevor Linden. Alex Edler. That second tier. We hang on to the second tier. It's those first tier guys.
Last year, Bo Horvat was first tier.
Oh, we've seen the light now. We made him first tier. He's not first tier. And I love Bo Horvat.
Oh, yeah.
But he's no Brock Boeser.
Could somebody buy a Sven Berchi jersey? I feel like he's doing a lot and nobody talks
You know
about
what?
Sven.
But that's good. We haven't scared him off.
He's older though. Like he needs.
He's not that old. He's like 24.
He's like 24, 25 now. He could use, I think, a little bit of a fan club getting behind him. He's the guy on that line nobody talks about.
I feel like we need to leave all the ex-Flames who are doing well alone. We need to leave Granlund alone. We need to leave Barchi alone. See, we're paying all kinds of attention to Sam Gagner. That doesn't look so good right now to me.
No, and
when Jake Virtanen is in the press box and Sam Gagner is out there fucking sucking up oxygen on the power play.
I'd be curious to see Virtanen on that checking line. I know that they have worries about his defensive abilities. I wouldn't mind in a game that's maybe not the most dangerous opposition, throw him in on that line instead of Gagne and see what he does with Dorsett and Sutter and bang and crash and make him play some D.
But just whatever you do, just nobody start looking for where Brock's apartment is. Don't wait for him outside of the rink, professional autograph guys with like 50 upper decks.
Good luck with the professional autograph guys.
What's
They're
upper
not
deck?
gonna listen.
Frank, on the next contract, don't offer him Canadian money. Like, just don't do any of that stuff. Don't freak him out.
Upper Deck actually just tweeted today, everyone needs to buy stock in Brock Boeser.
We're
not even joking. I saw that today. The Canucks retweeted it.
No way.
Yeah, and they had pictures of a few Brock Boeser cards that they attached to that tweet, and I was like, I probably should get some Brock Boeser cards.
We're screwed. It's over. And for all you girls out there listening, just if you see him at Barcelona nightclub, just he's got a girlfriend. Just go easy. Just go easy. What do you love him gently?
What are you worried that's going to happen with him? Now, and then we're talking about depressed Canuck fan cynicism.
Then he signs in Minnesota.
Yeah, it just reeks of it, doesn't it? He's going to play out till he's 26, and then as soon as he gets to the UFA, he's like, I don't like Vancouver so much anymore because they came on too strong.
Too many upper deck cards.
I'm gonna go play in Minnesota, close to home, where they serve lutefisk and all the food isn't spicy.
Is this turning into an edition of Dump and Chase?
We're gonna get dumped by Brock Boeser, and
Yeah.
he's gonna go chase that sweet American
Swipe
money.
right
You gotta
on
play hard to get, Paul.
That's my problem, apparently.
Maybe we cut Brock a break on the rent, and for $4,000 a month, we let him have a second bedroom. I think it's awesome that he's almost a point a game player for his career so far.
Oh yeah.
I think it's terrific that he's gotten this town excited about a team that's one game over 500 and blew a 2-goal lead the other night. Everybody's still talking about his goal. It's great, but let's just pump the brakes just a little.
Well,
just a little bit.
We've had a problem on this team where somebody couldn't score 40 goals. Has anybody scored 40 goals on this team since Ryan Kessler?
No.
Well, Kessler and didn't someone else get 40 that year?
Yeah,
Daniel?
but we're around that time. Yeah,
That was a lot. It's been like 6 years.
Oh, sorry. Did it not help your narration that you guys tried for that I bring up Daniel Sedin, a guy who was never scared out of town?
Yeah, because we treated him like shit
and
for
you're
so
trying
long.
to scare him out of town.
We negged,
true.
to borrow a term
no
from
one ever loves that guy.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one that you treat like shit.
That's the one that your mom wants you to marry. No one loves that guy.
Oh, Mom, I can be mean to him.
We want that blonde American flight risk. That's what we want. Not steady Daniel Sedin opens doors for old ladies, walks them across the street. No one marries that guy.
So we need some misogynistic insults to throw at Brock Boeser. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. We also we negged him, to borrow a term from Andy from The Office. We just did nothing but put Daniel down, just made him want to make us love him even more.
That's what happened.
Daniel, that's a nice purse. It hides how heavy that dress makes you.
But we haven't had a.
It makes all the
I don't
sense
know
in the
what we're coaching
world.
fans to do with Brock Boeser right now, and I feel like it's a
Don't-
dangerous route
It's to
that
boo
Dave's
him.
leading us.
Let's
don't
get that.
don't compliment him. Don't look at him. Just leave him alone. Let him score his goals quietly.
We went all in on RK17, and then RK17 went south.
No, people ragged on Ryan Kessler for the first few years. They said he wasn't as good as they expected.
Injury prone, couldn't score.
Didn't do anything offensively. People slagged Ryan Kessler
But then when
till he and Burrows really
But
started.
then we went all
working on the
in.
third line.
Yeah, he was everybody's man crush. He was the goal scorer, the two-way player.
Ryan was questioning things about himself during the Ryan Kessler run.
I was wearing my RK-17 jersey. Like, God, if it just could.
So many laser appointments left to get that tramp stamp removed.
You know what my icebreaker was going to be with him?
What?
My name's Ryan too.
It's a good one.
Oh.
But we've
goes over real well.
we've complained for weeks that the Canucks, for years, the Canucks have not had a guy with the jam or the juice that can score 35, 40 goals. And now we have one. And now we watch Brock Boeser being on the Canucks Twitter. He's the top line winger. He's the top line goal scorer. He's out there on the power play. He's getting goals.
Couldn't play on this team 3 weeks ago, apparently.
He wasn't. Listen, I really like what Gagne brings with whoever and whomever.
I don't like how jacked up he gets when he scores like insurance goals.
Who?
Sam Gagne gets really excited when he
He's
scores.
only got 2 this year.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't score. It's like Granlund went to town, and mind you, that was a tighter game.
Is he the only person in Vancouver who might miss John Tortorella?
Who?
Sam Gagne.
Or wish, he missed that golden era.
Him and the SPCA, because he was adopting like 4 dogs a week.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I accidentally bought a year subscriction to The Athletic, and
I was like, what is that?
And
Yeah.
I know I got a text.
And he's like, "Here you go, guys." And I'm like,
What the
Have
fuck
any of
is
us
this?
used it?
Hey, did you do the plugs?
No, not yet.
Thanks for listening wherever you got us from, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCR, PucksNetCa. And if you want to support the show monetarily, you can head on over to patreon.com/PucksOnNet. We're doing a Q&A after this, which we got some really good questions.
This is like a Netflix show, though, where sometimes that opening teaser scene goes for like 20 minutes if it's one of those Marvel series, and then it's like, oh, we haven't done the opening to the show yet. Oh, I guess we got to play the theme song.
No,
I love everything Marvel does.
it's a natural place for an edit.
Yeah, we're sitting here with a big clock on the wall. We're like broadcast 6:59, 58. Play the music. God damn it.
Punishers, I've only watched the first one, but that's a solid series.
Pretty good.
By the look of it.
Pretty good. Shane was my favorite character from Walking Dead, so it's good to see that he's not a zombie.
He was an interest. I just listened to an interview with him today on The Nerdist to promo another podcast that will never promo us back. But it was very interesting. He studied acting in Moscow.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's from DC, but he went to Moscow to
I don't
study
think they would appreciate the
theater.
arts in Russia. But
He could not say, like he said, it's like the manliest thing you can do to be like a thespian.
Got a lot of Russian players on Instagram right now joining that Putin team to support the president. Gino and Ovi are in that.
Yikes. I will not say anything critical on a public forum about someone who is that dangerous.
It makes us all a little uncomfortable, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Oh.
Back to the Canucks for a second.
Okay.
Right.
I've been at the rink a little bit, and I've been playing media with Paul, where I'll clock out and I'll go to the Norm Jewison media room and listen to the presser, which is that is not
A professional media room?
No, it's not an exciting scene.
Oh.
Were you expecting more?
Yeah.
I expected a little bit of glamour, and it was just like the bowels. It was like a Vancouver Giants game.
It's an auxiliary room down in the basement.
And it's got people saying, listen, it's 10:25. I want to be at home 10 minutes ago. And
Well, he's talking about me because he comes and sits down next to me, and I don't even pay attention
Dude,
to Travis Green.
you've
most
been
of
working
the time.
upstairs a little bit. It's like a riot upstairs when the game goes into overtime. We're all furious.
son of a bitch bastard.
Yeah, even when the Canucks tie it, we're like, I had theater tickets.
I'm missing my bus.
But I was Travis Green said a great thing this week.
Yeah.
And it was basically, we aren't good enough. I'm paraphrasing. I forget the actual quote, but it was, we're not good enough to play less than 60 minutes. We're not good enough to not play 100% every single night.
What are we upset with him because he's telling the truth?
No, I'm actually pretty excited that he's telling the truth, and it's just like, it's going to show that if this team is going to try for the playoffs, it's going to get burnt out because it's going to do everything it can to make it, and it's probably, it's not a team that can take the foot off the gas like in the good old days of.
Yeah, but they might go into the playoffs with that mentality. We cannot take our foot off the pedal.
But then they got a team. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're gonna.
We got a tagline there: Vancouver Canucks hockey. We have to play a full 60 minutes.
Compete has to be in our.
And just like a really tuckered out looking hungover Thomas Vanek.
There's no. You don't hold back now, and then.
Well, you can't, and like
really play in the playoffs.
and that's what you saw on Saturday
Yeah.
against St. Louis, where it's like the team played for about 45 minutes, and then just it sits back, and it's not going to do
was
anything.
That goal an actual bad goal, the one that was disallowed?
The hand job?
The hand job goal. They assumed that the official wording was that they thought that St. Louis having control of the puck was possession.
And it didn't even sound like I was overhearing some
That's
of the
pretty
like
flimsy.
It's pretty flimsy.
TSN radio conversation, and I wanted to lean in and be like, I don't think you understand why the goal was called back. But yeah, apparently, the slash happened just before the glove, and then the glove they said was possession, so the play is supposed to stop there. It's one of those where it's like, I don't know, is that in the rule book? Like, what happens if you glove it down? But he closed his hand on the puck, too, so it should have been 2 penalties?
Well,
it's the equivalent of like Brett Hall didn't have possession, but then he had possession, so they win the cup.
To play devil's advocate, if the penalty was called before the guy gloved the puck, I would say if he had batted it, if it was a bat like this is bad radio, but I'm batting with my hand.
He's swatting
that's a live puck. Just like if a puck ricochets off a guy's stick, it's not possession. But if the player closes his hand on the puck, to me that's control.
Now then, is that 2 penalties?
No, you can close your hand on the puck. Yeah. You can. You just can't do anything with it. Like if I closed my hand on the puck, like caught the puck midair and like tried to deke you out, like juke you out, which I did and got a penalty for in beer league this year, just out of instinct. Or if I just skated with it, then it's a penalty. But if I can catch a puck and drop it and play it.
Yeah, I thought they put in some change where like they just said they want it to be a bat. They don't want guys grabbing.
No, you can grab
and dropping, because I know like back in the day, I remember guys like picking it off, putting it down. You think of like the Burrows.
As long as you don't take a stride or two, you're fine. Like it's fine.
Okay.
I'll
take your word for it.
If I skate, no, that's the rule. If I caught it and skated with it for like 4 strides. From
I know that, but even just grabbing, I thought there was some change.
Oh
in
no.
I think that's too hard to.
Yeah, no. You can definitely catch it. You can definitely catch it. I'm 99% sure that they haven't changed that rule because I've seen it a lot this year, where pucks get flipped into the zone and the defenseman will catch, drop, and
I thought it was one of those. Yeah, they just don't call it because as long as you're like sort of in a batting motion,
but even then, that's what it was. Like that's a tough one.
So that's why the goal is disallowed. Possession.
And so maybe it's not. It's a shitty way to not win a hockey game. But when you got a 3-1 lead in the third period, you should win anyway.
That should be
that's
a
what
good.
Travis Green said.
Good teams find a way to close that shit out. So.
Isn't that good of a team.
Also, Hockey Night in Canada going, hey, the Canucks broke Braden Shen's point streak when regulation ended. That was like almost as good as when John Garrett was talking about Luongo getting a shutout that one night. There was like 30 seconds left in the game. Colorado got a goal in garbage time.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
It's like, whatever. But, the Canucks don't matter, and this is a national podcast. So can we talk about something that is incredibly entertaining?
What's that?
My favorite thing so far at the NHL.
I don't know what
this
that
season.
is.
The implosion of the Montreal Canadiens is my favorite story of the year because somewhere along the lines, the obnoxious Toronto fans became kind of lovable like their team. And the traditional and spirited Montreal fans became a bunch of jaded losers and became Toronto Maple Leafs fans, where their negativity almost makes you sympathize with the team that's making them negative. It's so if you pay attention to what the Habs fans are saying, it's so over the top. I don't want to sound callous here because we do a hockey podcast, so obviously the game matters to us somewhat. But, like, y'all need to fucking get a life, all right? The death threats against Mark Bergevin.
Really?
The fact that he's said that he feels like his family can't leave the house. Like, the shit that's gone on, like, people speculating on that Carey Price isn't really hurt.
That's the one I read today. It's like, what?
Holy shit, everybody. Like, do you have job stress? Don't you have family stress?
We're all stressed out people.
Like, I have a lot of people in my life that are diehard Montreal Canadiens fans. They're writing diatribes on Facebook, opuses to what they think that the Habs need to do. One guy that I talk to on a very regular basis thinks that the key to turning around is Carey Price needs to wear all white equipment. All of you...
Whoa, getting scientific there.
all of you need to just kind of take a bit of a break. I feel like it's like a relationship where there's the two people love each other, but they're kind of bad for one another.
Yeah.
The Habs need to go on a lengthy road trip and need to play in some maybe markets where the games get blacked out. Like
I don't know, man. This is next level. This is like the fan base is like flat earthers or something. That's a whole other problem.
they signed Antti Niemi to turn you off and get some space. What more signals do you need? Like.
Yeah.
Just like everybody just needs to chill out a little bit, okay? Like
You know what would make those Montreal Canadiens a pretty good team?
what?
What?
Trade and Carey Price.
Get reversing that Jonathan Drouin trade.
Would that make that much of a difference,
What was
though?
his name again?
Somebody,
Miguel?
Sergachev.
Sergachev would be struggling, I think, in Montreal.
Some tall,
They'd
dark, and handsome
still be
gentleman maybe
bad.
said that trade wasn't a good idea. I wonder who that was.
No, we saw this.
Drouin's been
we
one of
had
the-
an appetizer for this a couple of years ago.
Did we?
Drouin's been one of their better players.
Yeah.
But he has not made them a better team, and this team leaks goals against like fucking Keystone Pipeline in South Dakota.
I'm not full out saying that, that trade
Plus, he was more of the same,
was the
Paul.
best.
Hey, he's a
But,
small, skilled forward. We
if-
don't have any of those.
If you're talking about right now, Sergachev would be struggling on a team like the Montreal Canadiens.
You don't know that.
You know what that team is?
That's an awful fucking trade. It's
no,
an
this is what I
awful
was
trade.
gonna
It's a
say.
terrible
young
trade.
defenseman on a talented team is going to flourish much more easily than he would in a tire fire in Montreal.
A couple of seasons ago, when Carey Price got hurt, they were bad. Because
Yeah.
they were real good up until Carey Price got hurt, and they were real bad, and that was an
Yeah, but they were-
appetizer. This is it.
There were
they,
pe-
they
there-
were not a good team.
There were
They
pieces.
they
though,
hid
that,
behind Carey Price for a very long time.
and it's the same team now, except
It's-
with Jonathan Drouin.
Exactly.
Drouin
This-
and-
that-
and Shea
all
Weber.
all it was a bad team in front of Carey Price.
She's got a point. She's got a
Careful with those accents, Dave. You're getting into Trump territory.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
She's got a point, but like I've said this before on this show 1,000 times, and I'll stand by it as my point to and my closing argument to our discussion here. Those top end, high octane defensemen, those top two,
Oh, yeah.
you don't ever trade them ever.
We've
I don't
had this
care.
conversation.
I don't care if they offer you fucking Jonathan Tavares or whatever. You do not trade a 20-year-old defenseman who's projecting to be a top two because you cannot buy those anywhere.
We've
get
had
them.
this conversation.
So and Drouin's not a superstar. Drouin's going to top out at 70 points a year. You can find a guy in free agency like that. Those opportunities come along.
He'll sign his contract on a tractor. That's what happens.
yeah.
70-point guys.
Let's
I'm
call
looking at a Montreal Canadiens defenseman right now.
let's call it as it was, and let's call a spade a spade. They overpaid for this guy because he's French Canadian. That's it.
They overpaid for a guy that they wanted to have that guaranteed.
If his name is Steve McGee, they don't make that trade.
Well, the funny thing is with Steve McGee is he's.
New nickname for Jonathan Drouin because it makes you look at him through an unbiased lens.
Let's bring Steve McGee in here. He's a game changer.
Is he?
I don't know. That PK Subban might have been.
Sergachev looks like he is.
But the one thing is, I watched a Craig Button segment on That's Hockey or whatever.
Okay.
And he was like vocally like angrily upset with, and he says how fundamentally flawed the Montreal Canadiens are. And it's like they have 5 and 6 defensemen playing, top 2 roles or top 4. And it's like a guy like Sergachev who has guys in front of him in Tampa where he doesn't have the Lucas Spiza effect, where you don't have to do everything every night and you can thrive in a smaller role. He would be like the top 2 guy with Shea Weber, and the weight of the world would be coming down on him if he was in Montreal
I'd be worried
this
that
year.
they'd be breaking Sergachev if he was playing in Montreal this season, just watching them.
Yeah.
And we're watching the Predators game. When Geeta mentioned I'm watching the Montreal Canadiens defenseman right now. Numbers-wise, I don't think this is a PK. Weber and Subban have a very similar stat line this year. I haven't watched a ton of games, but that's one I didn't bring up because honestly, I don't think that's
Well, and you can't tell
this
me
season anyway.
You can't tell me with any certainty that Nashville doesn't make the finals if they don't make that trade. They very well could have.
Yep.
Honestly, like I feel like
No, that's not the player that's causing.
PK's a
yeah.
fine player, but I really think that they were just as good a team before they made that deal. And because Weber had a good year for Montreal and PK had a pretty good year in Nashville. That trade I consider a wash right now.
Overall, they've played about the
same,
same
yeah.
quality-wise, numbers-wise since
No,
the deal.
I think it was just a little more ironic that he just happened to be on the ice
but
at that time.
this Drouin trade has not worked out. A lot of the things that Bergevin has done have not really worked out, and there's a human element to it. And like you guys work in the league a little bit, I work in the league a little bit, and you get to know people. Paul's interviewed a lot of these guys. You never want to say that someone should lose their job and be fired, but like I think they're getting to that point now where I think the head of the snake needs to be cut off. I think that they need to make a change in the front office.
It's interesting that it's
it ain't
taken this
working.
long.
Yeah.
In a market like Montreal, I feel like.
Well, are they? Do you
Who's
think
going first,
What-
Bergevin or Julian?
What if
then?
Mark Bergevin?
I think they both go at the same time.
What if Bergevin's name was Frank? I don't know. Anderson.
No
McGee.
one named
Steve McGee.
Frank is ever going to be the GM of
And
the.
just they should they should get away from the hey, he played for the Canadiens, let's make him a GM. Like no Patrick Waugh, first of all.
Well,
Don't.
that's the thing. It's like there's
No.
there's articles constantly about like, well, they could bring Patrick Waugh in so he could yell at everybody and scare the shit out of everybody.
I'd bring in a guy who won 2 Stanley Cups who's looking for a job, like a Dean Lombardi. If they really want to take him, we'll just call him Dean Laborde. You know, like
He's from Trois-Rivières.
he's from Trois-Rivières, Three Rivers, Quebec. You know, but like a guy like Dean Lombardi sitting. You know, I think he's in an assistant role or
He's in
something.
Philly.
Yeah, but like. Bring that guy in. He's won 2 Stanley Cups. He built a big, strong, mean team in L.A.
I hate the term winning culture because I think it's kind of bullshit, and it's just like you just build a good team.
Bring a smart, experienced general manager who's
Somebody with a track record.
Yeah, and that's Dean Lombardi. If the Montreal Canadiens don't fire Bergevin and hire Dean Lombardi, they're idiots. They should do it. And they should also get rid of Bill Dauterive as well. You got Mark Crawford and some kind of associate coach. I'm doing the jerk-off motion role. He speaks French, so the media and fans won't run him out of town like
Crow's
they did
in
Randy.
Ottawa right now.
Yeah. He's an associate coach in
So
Ottawa.
that means all the things he calls for, he has to say in English and in French, or else he's not allowed
but
to
he
be on the
can't,
bench.
because that was, remember when they had Randy Cunningworth as an interim role, and they wouldn't even consider him for a full-time job because he didn't speak French, which is ridiculous and kind of racist.
It's the same qualifications to become prime minister.
Pretty much. You have to speak French if you want to be prime minister or the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens.
But I'm just saying, Mark Crawford checks that box, and he's a breath of fresh air. He's not some big idiot who also used to coach the Bruins.
Basically, anybody but the two guys there need to be there.
I think they're just waiting for Alain Vigneault to get fired because they like to do the
Former coaches.
The
merry-go-round.
recycle, yeah.
Yeah, but the jurors are kind of figuring it out a little bit, aren't they? In New York, things are getting a little bit better over there.
Little bit, yeah.
They're getting prime time attention on Saturday Night Live, so they must be doing something right.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't dignify it with my presence.
You guys see the Chance the Rapper
I
sketch?
did. I actually watched that whole episode that night. I got home and then plugged it on after work, and that skit was good, but it wasn't as good as everyone's saying
They
on
talked
Twitter.
about hockey on Saturday
Yeah.
Night Live, and it was so good, and I loved it. Like, fuck off.
One of the best
Fuck
parts
off.
to me, I thought, was they actually had the scores from Saturday night at the bottom of the screen, and that extra touch as a hockey fan made me go, oh, that's kind of. It was good. It wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but everyone was going nuts on Twitter, and
Well,
I was
we're-
like, yeah, it was. There were better skits that night.
Well, wherever there's comedy, there's Canadian writers, right? So somebody was like, yeah, we'll put the scroll on the bottom.
Make sure they're playing the Oilers that game. That'll be funny.
Did anybody see, speaking of the Oilers, the Spit and Chicklets thing with Zach Cassian and
what
Jimmy
happened?
Vesey?
No.
So Spit and Chicklets, they were interviewing somebody from the Rangers. I can't remember which player, but he was telling the story about Zach Cassian earlier this year. Jimmy Vesey tried to slew foot Cassian and kind of botched it and ended up coming face down on a Cassian skate.
Oh, I heard about
And
that.
he knocked his front teeth out and knocked one of his teeth into his lip, a la like Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, yeah.
And it was a gruesome injury. And he's bleeding like a stuck pig. And Cassian skates by Vesey, like when Vesey's just getting onto the bench, and he leans over and he goes, "I hope you fucking bleed out."
Jesus Christ.
Just a savage.
That's the kind of bloodthirsty mentality I want on my team, though. That's going to win playoff games.
That's the kind of bloodthirsty mentality they couldn't get Zach Cassian to tap into when he was in Vancouver.
Ryan, you can't do anything in the playoffs if you don't make them.
Details.
Careful.
They're all the details.
He played in the playoffs one season for the Canucks under Willie.
There was
didn't go well.
Hey, they won those 2-ish.
He looked good in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he was producing. That's when.
Because he's got that bloodthirsty mentality where he wants to make guys bleed out.
There was a good video from. They did one of those faux HBO 24/7s for the Stadium series.
Epic.
Okay.
Oh, hang on.
I just think Cassian probably learned that in Montreal. You know, that vicious wanting guys to bleed out after what we talked about.
I'm going to drive my truck into this tree.
Oh, that wasn't what I was talking about, but death threats.
They really miss him there.
Yeah. But they did this video where they did the Epics 24/7 thing.
Yeah.
And then they did a segment where it's on YouTube where they're like making fun of how dumb Zach Cassian is, and it's like it's Bieksa and Booth, and they're like asking him questions like how many muscles are in something or other. And
when was this? What year was this?
It was the Torts year.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, there's a good video going around on YouTube of them making fun of how unintelligent Zach Cassian is. I can't quote it verbatim, but it's pretty funny.
He's pretty dumb. That was a nice little play from behind.
I'm gonna look that up actually. You guys chat for a second.
Yeah, well, we got the Jets Preds game on.
These
live.
two teams are real good, aren't they?
They're real. The Jets have won 9 of their last 10 games. They're low key Canada's team.
They've come
down,
back. It was 5-1 last I looked at the screen.
Yeah, and then Tyler Myers got a goal, and then Matthew Perreault got one from behind the net, which is a play I used last night in my game.
Benino got the 5th one for the Preds. I got that one.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. They did not have a lot of space there. Look at that. Always put the puck on the net. It's never a bad play.
Great radio. Look at that.
Look at that. It's like when Shaw used to do the fireworks on the radio. Would you look at that explosion?
You ever seen closed captioning for fireworks?
Yep.
Boom.
Blammo.
I can't find this video, so we'll move on. I got a good couple of sound bites. Do you want to hear them?
Sure.
So.
There were 2 that made their way on their rounds on the hockey Reddit that I just loved, and we're talking. Dave mentioned Antti Niemi, like the trying to get the break, and the Habs picked him up so that the fans.
They put him in for a game. He got 2 shots. He made 1 save.
Yeah.
He's got road hockey goalie.
Is he on waivers now?
He's got a white mask and like Pittsburgh pads and like a random Florida blocker. It's all a mess.
Who are we talking about? Niemi? Sorry.
The Antti Niemi.
Yeah, he got 4 shots that game, okay? He's got a 750 save percent.
That's amazing.
So
if this was free throw percentage in basketball, that would be good.
Yep.
So this is him coming in on Saturday night. They got the shit kicked out of him 6-0.
Okay.
He comes in after it's 5-0, and this is what you get.
Antti Niemi's first save as a Montreal Canadien. Here it is.
It was an easy save, folks, just so you know.
It was a slow roller to first base.
Boy, welcome to Montreal, huh?
It was just from on their side of the blue line or red line.
And then welcome to Montreal. The worst fans right now to play for the National Hockey League.
Based on what happens there,
I could not think of a city if I was a player that I would want to play in less than Montreal right now.
How good's your French?
It's not very good.
So yeah, you won't want to play there.
9th grade French.
It's one of those things.
Je m'appelle Steve McGee.
The majority are great, fine people, but then there's other people.
But they just on the whole, even like when you meet a fine person who's a Montreal Canadian fan, like the wins and losses seem to affect their personal life and their mood.
Well,
and then when they see you in public, they're going to take it out on you.
Oh, yeah, I work.
This is why I'd be a bad celebrity. You come up and tell me, oh, why don't you get the power play going? I'll probably punch you right in the face.
You know what?
We're doing my best out there, goddammit.
I'm having dinner with my wife. Fuck off.
I drove behind a car today whose license plate said Habs 29.
And was he swerving all over things?
Big Ken Dryden fan. Probably a veteran.
But yeah, Vancouver's got the same issue, though.
Not
Ryan's
really.
following you to the bathroom.
There's some awful fans in Vancouver, too.
Yeah, just don't. It's a
Yeah,
job,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, but I mean,
My license plate is Nux 11.
oh jeez,
Nux with an X.
RK 1769.
I got to get that vanity plate changed. But I mean, this is a fan base that put up billboards to run Patrick Waugh out of town in like 1991 or 1992, and this is a fan base that rioted in the first round if they won or lost.
Yeah,
like,
you see, they used to be this like everybody wore suits to the game and fedoras, and it was this classy joint.
and there, for the most part, that is the thing, that the romanticized idea that hockey is the religion in Quebec, and a lot of the time it is. But
But now it's become this like crazy thing where people are living and dying with Max Pacioretty's plus minus.
Classy era where people would wear suits to the game, back when you had like chain link fence around the outside, and when Maurice Richard is held out, the city burns to the ground. Like is that what era you're talking about?
That linesman had it coming.
I'm just saying.
You called me offside for the last
Vancouver-
time.
In Vancouver, we have a problem with people wearing suits to the game because you're like, they're just sitting there looking at their cell phones.
it's a very Toronto problem.
You know my point though, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just people need to really remember that hockey's supposed to be fun and it's just a game, and these guys are just trying to make a living like everybody else. They get paid very, very well, but that doesn't give you the right to threaten them and harass them. It really doesn't. You don't like it? Watch something else. Watch Stranger Things Season 2. You want to talk about something that's worth complaining about?
You want to talk about Stranger Things? The Arizona Coyotes beat them, for crying out loud.
Hey, they're starting to win hockey games, and
Yeah, but that team's hot.
Oh yeah, three in a row they've won.
yeah, in regulation no less.
Yeah, I love that it took 20 games for the Coyotes to get their first regulation win, but hey, they're doing just fine.
No room for Shane Doan on that team, though, right?
There was so Antti Niemi's there, and I asked the question, how many teams could he possibly play for?
I don't think he's played for his last team this year in the NHL.
Carey Price is going to come back from his alleged mystery injury, depending on which National
You
Enquirer.
started that rumor?
No, but they're gonna keep Niemi, and they're gonna send Lindgren back down to play in Laval.
Okay.
Like, I guarantee you that's what they're gonna do, because they don't want that kid to sit and rot on the bench. Like,
He's got that Mike Condon thing, like he looks pretty good, so let's trade him for nothing, kind of let him go for nothing.
No, they're gonna keep him. They're gonna put him in Laval, because like Carey Price, once he's healthy, he plays like every single night.
Yeah.
Like, Al Montoya has carved out a pretty nice niche for himself. Like,
Right.
probably shouldn't be in the NHL, but he's been there for a couple of years.
And he knows that he's going to stay.
Kind of like how Marty Biron even said, like on TV, that he extended his career by being Henrik Lundqvist's backup.
Yeah.
He said, I was probably in the league 3 years longer than I should have been, just because I really just had to be 500 10 games a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why not just have Niemi just keep the water bottles full?
Well, 500 10 games a year is a tall order for him. I mean,
For Niemi?
Yeah.
He might make, that's a save percentage.
like
500.
he's on his third team now.
Where else
750,
did
David.
he play?
He started in
Not for all the teams.
He started in Pittsburgh. He went to Florida and now he's in Montreal.
Montreal.
I could
It's a sixth team overall.
Every time a goalie's backup goalie is injured for just a couple of weeks, he'll just shuffle on.
So he's headed to Vegas.
they would have probably taken
Yeah.
him if
If he had been
if
available at the time.
If they weren't so goddamn successful.
Poor Dylan Ferguson. He missed so much development time in
There's a
Kamloops.
team on a 2-game win streak.
you bring up Dylan Ferguson because he keeps telling the same story about how he
Boston
got the call.
Pizza?
But he goes,
He just wants everybody to know that he paid for the team's dinner.
which is fine, but that's not the part that cracks me up. Is he lists exactly what he ordered, but he says it like by how they market it. He's like, we were at Boston Pizza. I didn't even get to eat my order of all meat boneless wings or all meat wings or something. And
Well, you know who
I was
owns
like, Jesus.
Boneless wing sounds like
All meat wings. That sounds good.
I know,
I'm
Boston Pizza,
I
right?
had them tonight.
Were they good? You guys went to Boston Pizza for dinner?
No, you're at the Pint.
I'm hungry.
But I just
Maybe I'll go get some boneless wings from Boston Pizza.
I wanted to eat them with a fork.
And you know who owns Boston Pizza, though?
oh yeah, the
The Trelivings.
Oh, Treliving?
I think so.
Yeah, that's Jim Treliving.
It's
Yeah,
his
that's
dad.
Why?
that's Dragon's Den guy.
Oh,
That's Brad Treliving's dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Boston Pizza, baby.
where's Brad Treliving? Calgary?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they can't build a rink because they can't come up with
Well, they
enough
had
money.
back in the 90s. They had to pay Cliff Clavin to be their spokesperson. Remember the guy from Cheers?
yeah. And they're
Come
still
get it all at Boston Pizza.
That was yeah.
Nami, we're gonna quit drinking for the night and go to Boston Pizza.
No.
I love that. I loved how The Simpsons would parody what Norm really would be like in real life, which is like an angry drunk.
Give me a drink. I was like, I can't. My doctor says I can't carry you home anymore.
Mr. Clay.
I'll kill you. I'll kill every one of you.
Yeah.
So they can't afford a rink, but they got Brad Treliving money kicking around.
No, we talked about that. They could afford it. They just why pay for it when you can maybe get it for free?
Yeah.
But that didn't work. And now there's the rumors are swirling about either expansion or moving a team to Houston.
No,
Yeah, I heard
no
about that
more.
this week.
Moving the Flames.
No more Texas. Yeah, I read about that too. They don't even, their AHL team moved. They don't even have an AHL team anymore. The Arrows are now they're in Iowa. And they're the Wild.
Oh.
The Texans are barely a team.
Yeah, man. No, that's a bad idea. Houston's a terrible city as well. by all
But
accounts.
It's a hub. It's a transportation hub.
Yeah, well, I'm catching my flight to Miami. I'm not going to stop off to the
It
Arrows
is
game.
the biggest airport I have ever been in.
Would it be worse than Arizona?
Yes. Well,
think
no,
it'd be worse?
not worse, but it's like, hey, like we stuck our finger in the mousetrap. Let's keep doing it when we have. That's just ridiculous.
There's speculation because they're set up right now that if they were going to move a team, it goes to Houston instead of Seattle because Seattle still needs another X number of years, and they would get the next round of expansion.
And they
in
can't
Seattle.
put a team in Quebec because it's a numbers thing with the conferences.
Yeah.
I mean,
They can barely handle one team in Quebec right now.
You want to talk about building a rink with any means necessary. You go look at that Quebec,
They really went through what I call the field of dreams mentality, which is if you build it, they will come. But it turns out if you build it, the Remparts might just play in a really nice junior team.
and for all that money that was spent, it didn't even win Stephen Harper the next election in Quebec because he was the big reason that they got the federal funding.
It went to a bunch of 22-year-olds who were.
No,
like,
that's 2 elections back.
Yeah, we gotta pick somebody for the NDP. There's only one girl in Vegas at her friend's bachelorette party on election night.
Yeah, that was 2 elections back, but yeah.
And there was
anyway,
the guys who kept falling asleep.
they'll get someone at Stephen Harper Arena eventually to play in the NHL, right?
Live from the Harper Dome, it's the Quebec Rempart against the Trois Vikings or whatever they're called.
Tonight's attendance, 28,000. Biggest QMJHL attendance ever.
It's a separatist night.
I heard just subtle rumors that the NHL has kind of told Calgary and Ottawa to figure their shit out and get new rinks.
But back in the day, teams used to play in their arenas for 50, 60 years. The Saddle Domes was built in the 80s. It's 35 years old, and it's decent. I've been to a game there.
It's gross and it flooded.
It's pretty shitty.
Does smell like basement, yeah, because of the flood. But you know what I mean? And Ottawa's rink was built in the 90s. So does that mean that we're gonna blow up?
I don't think
We're gonna implode Rogers Arena in 2 years and build a new rink in fucking Surrey.
Well, when you get down
in the False Creek, that empty space that they keep trying to
we're gonna drain the swamp.
as Ryan was saying, when you get downstairs at Rogers Arena, all of a sudden it starts to the tile on the floor looks a little 290s. The media room is just where they store the folding chairs.
It doesn't have a bad. Here's the thing about Rogers Arena. It doesn't have a bad seat in the house.
Yeah,
it's for you TV nerds out there. It's all plug and play. You don't have to run any cable. There's a drop in every fucking room of that building.
Yeah.
They got the new bar. They got all the amenities you could want. If there was ever a vote whether or not we were going to spend public money on a new rink, I'd be a hard no. That building is fine. I'm going to cut this off before it even starts.
I was joking when I was complaining.
But you know what I mean, though? Rogers
It's
Arena
fine.
is fine for the next 25 years.
it's aging well.
It
That's
is.
the thing. And
but the Saddle Dome you're saying isn't.
No, and it was built in 1983 or 84.
That's not that old, really.
No, but again, it's been damaged.
No, it's how things were built.
Yeah.
That's how buildings were built
For
in
sure.
the 80s. They were concrete jungles. They didn't have box seats or for television, so there's no, you're not plugging and playing in every
We got
room.
Uncle JR under the seats covered in old Pepsi.
Yeah,
on
you're
the cable.
You're taping cables everywhere. You can't get a Wi-Fi signal because it's like a bunker. So it's just the type of stadiums that people want now is they want to have.
No, and I'm talking specifically. It was molding, wasn't it not?
Oh, of course it's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
molding.
there was water everywhere. So
was-
let's all have a stink.
But it's like with the Flames, like, or with the Saddle Dome, you've got that sport check zone, like where you can't see half the ice, and it's. I mean, they did a giant reno to modernize it in 1994, so stuff needs to get done.
They're not doing anything to Rogers, though, we know, because they've just completed construction on these towers that are attached to it.
Yeah.
The new bar. Like, they've kept it up, and they're putting more money into it.
And Ryan's right. It's aging well, and it was
been
built.
maintained.
It was built to last.
It's
It's in a great spot. And honestly, there's just no real estate left in Vancouver.
No.
So
Plus, there's never been a rodeo in there.
No.
You don't have.
You don't have that manure stink.
Yeah.
Yeah. John McCaw was way too stuck up for that. Now,
Also, they will put in a bike lane before they build a new arena in Vancouver.
speaking of stadiums, my favorite sports story of the day was the implosion of the Georgia Dome and how the main hard cam got photobombed by a bus.
And
on live TV, they're like, "Move, bus, move!"
And but
Fuck,
he's
move.
move the fucking bus. Like, it's the greatest thing ever.
Now I get those memes I've been seeing on Twitter all day. I didn't know what they were referencing.
Oh yeah,
You thought it was Extreme Home Makeovers, right? Move the bus! With
Yeah.
ties all
Well, it's
coked
just-
up. move the fucking bus!
They've cut the bus out and they've put it in front of like
Everything else.
every famous things in history, television. You know, Mr. Burns getting shot. Finally, we revealed the shooter, and the bus is in front of the crowd.
It
Yeah.
was really something. I loved it. That was a very nice distraction.
Was there a bus stop there?
No, the bus just stopped on a bridge to
Oh.
watch. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
They're gonna blow up the Georgia Dome.
I couldn't figure out as I'm watching the video.
Bill
of it, I'm
Goldberg
like,
won
is
the
there a bus
WCW
stop?
title in the Georgia Dome.
That's why it's like, it looks like a tour bus. I'm like, is there a bus stop there?
And if you look to your left, ooh.
Whoops.
I got another funny quote, another soundbite I wanted to play for you guys. Remember how we were talking about the dairy alternatives, and then the almond milk people were going to send us something?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't sending us shit yet.
So fresh.
Yeah, they ain't fresh. So
I drank 6 liters of real milk this week.
Yeah, this is
so
a
suck it, almond milk.
I
That's
used
how much
almond.
Apothic I drank. They haven't sent us shit all as well.
and we're getting tweets every week about
That's
like
why Geeta's drinking it. She's trying to get. It's like if you eat like 10 bad subs, you get one for free.
yeah, it's like it's
If you drink
atomic
it, they will
sub.
come. Is that no?
Pretty much. I mean, we're getting tweets every week from people saying, "Oh, look, I'm just like Geeta. I've gotten my Apothic red at the liquor store in London or somewhere in the UK."
You know what? I've seen Geeta drinking all sorts of stuff that's not Apothic Red. I have not seen her drink Apothic Red in forever.
Fake news.
It's
Fake news.
It's she's living the gimmick, brother.
But yeah, I drink almond milk every day. I had some this morning.
Where can I find the Ric Flair ESPN 30 for 30?
It should be on the torrents. I've been doing a thing now where I just put stuff. I download it. And
I
put
don't.
it on,
I don't download off. The
I'll put it on
torrents.
my Google Drive and I'll just email you the link.
Okay.
It's really good.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I've been doing that for.
Okay, guys,
Wrestling.
you can take care of this later.
Yeah.
We'll edit that out, but can you do that?
Yeah, I'm not editing that out. That's funny.
Woo!
Okay, so now that we're anti almond milk, we're pro dairy. This is a pro dairy podcast.
No.
Are you just gonna move?
Yeah, this is an ad I think on NBC Network for hockey, and it just cracked me up so much. So, oops, sorry. Hang on here.
Blackhawks power play is brought to you by chocolate milk. Okay. This Blackhawks power play is brought to you
Okay.
by chocolate milk. Okay.
Doc Emmerich is just as excited about chocolate milk as Paul is.
All right, chocolate milk. There's actually been a really good
You know who does great chocolate milk? So fresh, their almond chocolate milk. Honestly, is
check-
amazing.
the check-
No one wants your hipster milk, Paul.
The
It's
check
so
didn't-
good.
the
It's
check
like a
didn't-
milkshake when you shake it up. Oh,
the check didn't clear, Paul. All right,
You know what occurred to me not that long ago is that the cows have to be pregnant all the time. I never thought of that.
No, it's
the almonds don't.
Yeah.
it's because they get milked.
No,
they're
they-
lactating.
No, I looked it up. They artificially inseminate them all the time.
interesting. We do a lot of. Man does a lot of bad things to cows. Like that is a.
Almonds just naturally lactate in all seasons.
Not to mention what the farmers do when no one's looking.
I think Geeta was onto something there.
Yeah.
They're not eating the cow.
Moo.
Another week. I've been putting this every. We haven't touched.
I can give up beef, no problem. I could never give up chicken.
The
I
cow-
love
the
chicken.
cow
Chicken's
is
where it's at.
sacred.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like most cow. I could give up cow. I don't like swine. That's
Well,
what
especially when you call it swine, it sounds that much less edible.
I ate some really delicious pork belly on Salt Spring Island last weekend. It was quite good.
Actually, the press box meal on Saturday was 2 different kinds of pork, and I loved it. So I'm just shooting my mouth off here. Every week I've been
That was such a fun transition.
It's true, it was.
So anyway,
every week I've been putting this on the rundown. We didn't talk about it last week or the week before, but
All right, what is it?
if you go to NHL.com,
Yeah.
any day of the week, you're going to see that Steven Stamkos is leading the NHL in points right now. Kucherov is leading the league in goals with 17, and Vasilevsky has 14 wins. They've been leading. They are that good. They've been doing this for the entire two months of the season.
you might say the league has been thunderstruck.
Dun, dun, dun.
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was sad. If you have time to watch Tampa Bay Lightning games, they're incredible.
They don't have Jonathan Drouin, but they have Mikhail Sergachev.
Yeah, but they haven't had Duran in a couple of seasons, so it's fine.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they-
true.
Don't miss him.
He was on the third line.
But if you can watch, it's just mind blowing how good they are.
Yeah.
And this is the trend every year where they are very good, and then Steven Stamkos gets a mystery injury, and so it's like every time I watch.
If he was a Montreal Canadian, he'd be faking.
yeah, his blood clots, huh? I guess again, can't really see those.
Blood
huh?
clot's pretty far away from your heart.
You can still play power play minutes.
Take some baby aspirin and get out there, Steven.
But I just really love watching these Tampa Bay Lightnings.
I'm
and
just reading tweets from Patrick Wildlover 69. Carey Price isn't hurt. Fake news.
I think we're going to wrap up this week's podcast. So we're going to do the Q&A after that. That was really funny. Yeah, we're doing a Q&A. We've got some good questions coming up. So if you want us, make sure you're following us on Twitter at pucks.netca or pucks.netca. And make sure you drink chocolate milk.
You know what would go good with some almond milk if you guys had some?
What?
Bailey's.
Cupcakes.
Oh, they're over there. Geeta made cupcakes.
Excellent.
Hang on.
I have not had dinner.
I have this. Can you grab them, Paul? I got the really shit. No, I'll do it.
Are we going to eat them on the air? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that way you have to lie about how good they are.
I'm sure
I
they're
get all of them. Thank you.
What kind of cupcakes are these?
They are cheesecake stuffed chocolate cupcakes.
Jesus. And did you make some sort of flower on the top? Is that what I see?
Yeah, I made a
thank
feeble
you.
attempt at putting roses on top of
They're
them.
beautiful.
Well, yeah. I mean, it looks good, but what's it taste like? Don't count your chicken.
We only have 3.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty more.
Oh, okay.
You can have more, Dave.
No, I was just worried that Geeta didn't have one. These two chuckleheads
They don't
just
wanna-
dove right in.
Holy shit, that's good.
Is this a Todd Packer cupcake?
What is...
Are these stuffed with hallucinogenics?
And also, while we're talking about Geeta's baking, thank you for responding to her
That might be the best cupcake I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, it's really good. This is really good.
She put out a question on Twitter about which Ninja Turtle each of us were as the hosts of Pucks on Net, and we got that was one of the most popular tweets we've had in a while.
Yeah, I think for the most part in a podcast dynamic, we settled on that I'd be Leonardo.
Ryan's really pushing that he doesn't want to be Michelangelo, but Geeta and I were saying Michelangelo.
I think
It was pretty set that Dave is Raphael. I don't think anyone gave him anything else. And I was Donatello and all but
what's
like
his
2.
deal?
a little salty.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's kind of the rebellious one with the heart of gold.
I was a cool little kid, so I didn't play with Ninja Turtles.
What did you
but
play
in
with?
real life, Ryan and I swapped.
Hockey sticks.
Oh,
Dave's
here we
too
go.
old for the Ninja Turtles. What are you talking about, Dave?
My favorite cartoon as a kid was Pro Stars. It was Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Wayne Gretzky, and they solved mysteries. It was fucking awesome.
No way.
You don't remember that?
No,
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, man.
That's old, man. That's like before my time.
Pro Stars. I'm gonna look that up.
No, it wasn't, because
I
Gretzky
feel
was
like
on
we
the
should
Kings.
YouTube that
Yeah.
Really?
Pro Stars is pretty awesome.
for the next show.
Yeah, so we're going to YouTube Pro Stars. Oh, we had a question last week that we said they would do research on, and it's like, what's the worst Canucks free agent signing of all time? And
Mark Messier?
and it comes. I'm still saying it's Louis Eriksson. It comes down to those two guys.
He didn't ruin the franchise. He's just inconvenient.
Okay, that's
He's a nuisance.
But
That's
then we were
fair.
making the argument, if you're going on stats alone, Messier's numbers weren't terrible. Not worth $6 million prorated.
yeah.
But it's like,
but
what
it
are
goes
you
beyond-
judging
it
based
goes-
on performance or
Overall
total?
total and complete annihilation of all things that we loved in our childhood about the Canucks.
So, regardless of
Mark had a scorched earth campaign that he ran against the Canucks, and then as soon as he was done his mission, went right back to New York.
oh, look at that! I'm all done here. I'm gonna go back. Hey, Leach, can I have the C for a bit? All right, thanks.
No
pal.
problem, boss.
Yeah, he gets that everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
You're not gonna need that letter on your chest, are you? That's fine. I'll just take it.
I know. He even did that to Rogers when he went over to Rogers to help push cell phones with Connor McDavid. Welcome to Alberta. Remember that?
Oh, Jesus, those are.
Mark Messier hasn't set foot in Alberta since probably 1999.
Well, he know
No,
Wayner.
and those commercials went off air really quickly.
He
I
knows
think
that
we had something to say about that.
he knows that Wayner's at every game, just getting blitzed.
Yeah.
Pushing his Wayne
Whiskey?
Gretzky. Yeah. But anyway, on that Wayne Gretzky boozing note, we're going to wrap up this week's podcast. I already said Twitter, so do that.
Why aren't we trying to get the Wayne Gretzky winery out in the Okanagan in Naramata to sponsor this podcast?
I'll send an email and I'll say, don't listen to anything. And if we say
we've been making fun of Wayne for about 2 years.
yeah,
I've got a great photo of me in that bottle of Chardonnay.
of the Wayne Gretzky wine, then we'll use that and we'll just say, don't listen to the show. Just look at this photo.
You should pair that with a nice coho salmon like you would pair Wayne Gretzky with Yeri curry. Coho salmon is the Yeri curry of that Chardonnay.
Go rate and review the podcast on iTunes. Leave a comment. We got a handful of new reviews and ratings in the American store, but none in the Canadian store. So if you can do that, we can help us defeat the Steve Jobs algorithm.
And if you want to send us some recommendations of what you would pair Wayne Gretzky wines with on Twitter, go ahead.
Yeah, but
Or which Ninja Turtle each of us would be. Send those directly to Dave, because he's a huge fan.
But yeah, so
I just want to go back in time and stuff you in a locker.
Cowabunga, man.
there'll be no 5 minutes for paying this week because we're going to go right into our Q&A show. So patreon.com/pucksonnet, and we'll see you in a week.
How long is this show?
As soon as not that
As long
long.
as you want it to be.